You're listening to No Limits Radio Show on the Vets on Media Network.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to No Limits.
You know, I'm always impressed when I can actually get this all to work. I'm like, I think it's working.
I am too. I'm very impressed.
Yep, looks like we're working.
Sam is normally running our board for us and making sure that everything sounds fabulous, but she's not able to be with us today. So Michelle is she's pulling double duty here. She's co-hosting and running the board.
Yeah, and now my mouse has disappeared. I don't even know where it is.
Well, today we are going to have a couple really exciting guests in studio. We're going to learn more about Baka. Passion and the Hulk will be joining us. That's in the 10 o'clock hour. We've got a fun game that we're going to be playing that everyone can play along with, and that's going to be at 10:30. But first, we've got the W.W.W. Oh, actually, I have to share the most awkward thing. I posted about this last night.
Yeah.
This was pretty damn awkward. So my ex-husband is in town for the Ironman.
Okay.
And he, if anyone trying to do anything in Tempe this weekend, just stay out of Tempe because all roads are going to be shut down. It's going to be crazy madhouse insanity. So just stay out of Tempe. But I'm sure Tempe loved that. Don't go to Tempe.
Support our local community. Don't go to Tempe.
Don't go to Tempe. Go to Scottsdale.
Yeah, that's right.
But at any rate, so he's in town and he's been doing a lot of things with the kids and seeing some other friends and family and yada, 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 and asked if we could go to dinner with him, which
okay.
I thought, okay, why? But for the sake of the kids, you know, I think any time that you and your ex, especially if you have kids, and if you have an opportunity to, I don't know, just strengthen the relationship and make nice, I think that's a good thing.
Make nice.
Make nice.
I like that.
So I said yes. So Zephan, Rob, and I went out to dinner with Mark last night.
And Sky?
Sky had to work.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, she would have been there.
Sorry to interrupt, but I just had to figure out where everybody was.
No, Sky would have been there. And, you know, it was funny because Zephan just had this look like this is the most awkward thing in the world.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. And Mark had thought that he was going to be bored, but Zephan's really good around adults. You know, he doesn't get bored. And so I was like, no, he's not going to be bored at all. You know, he's fine. But I could just feel it off of him. And I said, Zephan, is this really weird for you? And he was like, yeah, it's super awkward. My parents haven't been in the same room in like 4 years. Yeah, I had a glass of wine.
Just one?
Okay, I had two. I was like, I have my ex-husband and my future husband right here. This is really damn awkward. I said that to the waitress too. I said,
you did?
I did. I said, I have my ex-husband and my future husband right here. I'm going to need a glass of wine. Just bring the whole bottle.
We, you know, my ex and I, because my ex lives here and we have 50-50 custody. So there's multiple times that, you know, picking up the kids or at sporting events or whatever that we see each other. We have once done the group thing as far as James being there and my ex being there. And my ex is remarried, so I see his wife all of the time. But it was a bit different, you know, it really is. So, you know, we did that once. It was Desiree's 18th birthday and she's now 23. So, you know, we don't do it.
How did it go?
You know, it was fine. We had a pretty large group. So, and it was at, is it W.W.W? Is that what it's called?
I love that place.
So, you know, it's kind of loud there and we had a big table. So it was kind of like my ex and his wife sitting on one side and us on the other side. So it was okay. It wasn't like a more intimate, like 4 people like you had to go through.
Right.
But I guess for me, you know, and like my kids, like for Zephan, he's like, you guys are all together. Like my kids see us, you know, I have to interact with my ex and his wife all the time.
Well, so my ex is, I don't know if it's his girlfriend or I don't know. They're on, they're off. I have no idea if they're on or are off right now. But the original plan was for all of us, including Andrea, to get together and have dinner. Well, probably about a month ago, Mark had posted this thing about, it was all about how schools send the message, that what you wear is more important than getting an education because of dress code violations. You wear a tank top, you wear shorts that are 2 inches too short and you're going to get sent home.
Right.
And I have to say, it was one of those weird times that I actually agreed with him, because I think the dress codes are pretty damn ridiculous. And some of the things that this woman Andrea was saying on this thread, things like telling him that he was sending the wrong message to his daughters, and that he needed to have them be more focus on their how they feel about themselves, and if they felt better about themselves, then they wouldn't be dressing like that. I mean, it was just, she was posting some pretty batshit crazy things, and and I'm sitting there watching Sky get physically upset about this and offended, and so Mama Bear came out and what?
Well, I was going to say, was she stating it as far as
About Sky.
specifically to Sky, or the
Yes.
fact that if girls felt
No,
more
It
comfortable?
wasn't if girls, it was directed right at Sky. Sky has another sister from a previous relationship that Mark had.
Okay.
So she was stating it about his girls, both Sky and Alexis. And Sky was Sky was really offended by the things that Andrea was saying. She's young. She's very judgmental. She thinks she knows it all. I mean, you remember what it was like to be young, right?
But I'm thinking she doesn't, I can't imagine her having any type of dress code violation problem. I mean, it's not like, well, no, let me take that back. The dress codes here in Phoenix, I mean, like, understand people, it's 100 degrees here and you can't wear a tank top. So, but like a tank, I mean, that's not like Sky, some rebellious, like mini skirt, crop top wearing type individual.
Exactly. No, she wore a pair of shorts, and the shorts were about 2 inches or an inch or half an inch. They were too short as far as the school. And so she got sent home. So it's definitely been a thing for her. And I keep telling Sky, look, you're almost out of high school. Next year, you're going to be going to college, and you can wear whatever the hell you want. But at any rate, in this conversation online, I kind of lost my cool. And I said, bitch, please. So she got so offended.
Okay. You saying bitch, please is like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like mixing Oreos and I don't know, coffee.
So now she hates me, and she doesn't want to see me, which I just find hilarious.
You didn't really lose any sleep over this, have you?
I did not.
I didn't think so.
I find it just hilarious.
I didn't think so. Well, speaking of losing sleep.
Yes.
We're going to talk about.
Are we going into the W.W.W?
We are. It's time.
Okay. So for those of you that are just tuning in, Michelle's going to share the W.W.W. These are the stories that she has found out on the web that fit into the category of wild, weird, wonderful, wacky. So while we're talking about these and sharing our thoughts, feel free to go to the Facebook page, No Limits Radio Show, and share what you think about these stories.
We would love to hear it. Okay. So Christina.
Yes.
There are 10 cities with the highest murder rates, according to the FBI.
Oh, Lord. Please tell me we're not in one of them.
You might not sleep so well at night if you lived in one of these cities, but there are 10 of them. So I'm wondering if you can guess a few of them.
Okay.
So give me 5? Let's just say 5.
Okay. I'm going to say Miami.
No.
Really? Chicago?
No.
Biloxi?
Biloxi?
Yeah.
No.
Phoenix?
No.
Oh, whew. Mesa?
You can't say Mesa. That's a suburb of Phoenix. Pick another one.
Mesa's a city.
Well, yeah, but it's like a suburb of Phoenix.
It's its own city.
I know, but like when you think of the metro area, you include all those.
Okay, so
cities.
none of these are in the Phoenix area.
That is correct.
Okay.
Actually, none of these are in Arizona, which doesn't surprise you if it's not the Phoenix area. Where else would it be? Tombstone.
The Tucson.
Tucson. I didn't think about that one. It could be Tucson.
The only place in Arizona that matters is Phoenix.
That is true.
That is so American.
I know. My daughter wants to go to, is it University of Arizona? That's Tucson, right?
It is.
Oh.
I'm going to be in Tucson next weekend.
She wants to go there. And I, as a mother, am trying to be very, very supportive because I really do want her to go to school. I went to a 4-year school, and I think the experience that you get, the knowledge you learn of yourself as a person,
Sure.
just so many different things. You know, it's not about, I think everyone has to have a degree. It's not that
Right,
at all.
right.
I think in today's world, anything you're passionate about, you can make it
Absolutely.
work. But anyway, I really want her to go. So she wants to go to University of Arizona. So I like bite my tongue so much when she's talking about it because I want her to go. And I'm like, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, I wonder if she can find another school because like visiting her all the time, I really don't want to go to Tucson.
Now, is it about Tucson or is it about their football team?
No, it's not about their football team. You know why I don't like Tucson? Bear down. I got lost in Tucson once when I was there for a wedding. And it was dress rehearsal night and we had dinner and I had to go back to the hotel for something and I got lost. The streets do not make sense there to me. They're not grid like here it is in Phoenix.
Right.
And I got lost and I was like in a really, really crappy area of Tucson, like where the murders happen. That's where I was. And I think since then I've been like, I don't like Tucson. I mean, I have a great friend that lives in Tucson. So I do go visit her every once in a while, but I just stay at her house. We don't have to go see the city. All right, so pick one more, and then we'll give the 10.
All right, San Francisco.
No.
Okay.
So here are the top
Los
10.
Angeles.
No.
Wait, hold on. Okay.
I kind of can't believe you didn't get one of them, which is the number one, as a matter of fact.
Okay, it's not Chicago. How about DC?
No. So you want me to tell them to you?
Yeah.
We have Kansas City, Missouri.
What?
That's number 10. There are this is a total of, the population is 465,000. The violent crime rate is 100,000 people. The total murders and manslaughters are 99.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's kind of crazy. So number 9, Baton Rouge. Number 8, Oakland, California.
Oh, see, I was almost there. I was in San Francisco. I just needed to go a little bit south.
Yeah. Cincinnati, Ohio, which surprises me. I kind of liked Cincinnati, but now I won't be visiting very often. Birmingham, Alabama.
That doesn't surprise me.
Baltimore, Maryland. The Ravens are there, so what do you expect? Sorry. Football tie-in. St. Louis.
Huh.
Newark, New Jersey.
New Jersey drivers are horrible. Horrible.
I wonder how many of those are driving accidents.
I bet you they are.
Road rage.
Related to road rage.
Yeah. New Orleans.
And I know that because of the one driver that cut me off this week.
Was from New Jersey?
Yes. So therefore, everybody from New Jersey is a horrible driver.
Blanket statement. New Orleans.
I said New Orleans.
No, you didn't.
I said Biloxi.
You said Biloxi.
Dang it.
And number 1, and this is the one it doesn't surprise me, and I really thought that you would guess this one, but Detroit is the number 1.
Detroit is the number 1 for the
murder
capital of the world. Capital. Chicago
is not in the top 10.
Nope.
Believe it or not. Believe it or not. Now, if you are in one of those cities and have to call 911, we absolutely understand. It's what it's there for. I'll tell you what 911 is not there for. In California, there is a corn maze. Did you hear about this?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So it's the largest corn maze in the world, 63 acres in Dixon County, California. And they are getting constant 911 calls from people that are stuck in the maze.
What is 911 going to do?
I don't know. But apparently I kind of think it's hilarious, to be honest. Well, it's not funny, but it kind of is funny. But yeah, they get calls. And this is one quote from a caller. "We're stuck. They close at 10 and we're very worried we can't find a way out." The deputy in Dixon County suggests that next year they should grab a map before heading in.
Oh my gosh. Or leave breadcrumbs to find your way back out.
But I would be that person. I don't think I've ever done one of those corn mazes, and I think I would get scared too. And could you imagine it was almost 10? What would you do? Like,
I would
what-
not. I would not want to be in a corn maze. Like that's the perfect backdrop for a scary movie.
like Children of the Corn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or aliens are going to come out of nowhere and abduct you. Or
Aliens aren't going to come out of nowhere, but 63 acres is huge.
that's crazy. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Pass.
Pass. All right.
Or ghosts could be in there.
Of course, there's ghosts there, Christina.
course.
There's ghosts everywhere. Did you hear this week about the Indiana woman that cut a man's penis with the box cutter?
Why?
She is Bonita Lynn
You know what's
Vila.
great? I know you guys can't see this, but Rob's in the background and he has just visibly protected himself.
Because the thought of it would just kill you, right? So yeah, an Indiana woman. Her name is Bonita Lynn Vila. She's 35. She pled guilty to confinement and battery after an attack where she accused an 18-year-old man who was her daughter's boyfriend, okay, of molesting her 2-year-old son.
Oh, okay.
So she cornered him in the trailer for.
Of course it's in a trailer.
Of course it's in a trailer. Wait, is this in Florida? This should be in Florida because this is a Florida thing happening. It's Indiana. But anyway, which isn't the myrtle capital of the world, by the way. But she trapped him in the trailer for 3 hours and then cut his penis with a box cutter so that he would see the scar every time he had sex.
Wow.
So the man is denying the accusations, and they say that she attacked him after smoking a lot of marijuana and ingesting some other illegal drugs. But the key to this is you could pretty much get away with a lot of stuff because she's getting no jail time for this. She's getting 10 months of home detention, I guess they call it, or confinement or whatever, and then 6 months of probation.
So do you think the reason for that was because of the accusations regarding the 2-year-old son?
Yeah, but they're not proven. They weren't even like legal charges that were brought against this guy. Like she just felt that he was doing it. So she got a box cutter out and cut his dick
Based on nothing.
her thoughts.
Oh, damn.
So I'm saying, you know, I could kind of understand if like he was found guilty or, you know, there was like this case going on and it was pretty evident that he had done it. But this was just I'm high. I think he molested my 2-year-old. So I'm going to take a box cutter.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't actually cut it off. She just like nicked it or cut it so that.
Yes. Well, I don't know if nick would be the word. I mean, she wanted to create a scar. So I'm sure she cut it pretty well.
Oh, that just sounds
I know it would
really
hurt, right?
really painful. But okay, so what does that, hold on a second.
Were you going to ask me what does that look like? Because I don't want to envision that.
No, okay, so you've cornered somebody, you're arguing with them. How do you go from arguing to all of a sudden his dick is out and you're cutting it with a box cutter?
Well, it says that she had him trapped for 3 hours. They don't
Like,
really
did
go
she
into
tie him down? I mean,
I don't know, but the kid was like 18. So, you know, I don't, you know, I mean, I guess it's not a kid. But, you know, I mean,
I've just been in a
don't
whole lot of
know.
arguments with people, and at no point was there suddenly a box cutter and a penis. Like,
Okay, you missed that this was in their trailer.
oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, you missed the key word of the entire story. Trailer.
I wonder if he had pants on at the time of the confrontation. Like, there's a whole lot of details here that are missing.
I know, right? We need to see more.
What? Oh, no, we don't.
Okay, well, we don't need to see that part, but, you know, we do need to hear more.
Oh, let's go
So,
on.
There's lots of things. Now, mind you that Phoenix is not in the myrtle capital of the world. However, did you hear about this man that was in critical condition, or he is in critical condition here Friday, just yesterday? This man was rushed to a hospital. Actually, I guess it was Thursday evening with 2nd and 3rd degree burns after a manager at Arby's used a fire extinguisher to douse the blaze. He was so badly burned that it was touch and go situation. It's a touch and go situation right now, says the Phoenix Fire Department. They haven't identified the man. But the manager just says that witnesses and herself, they just saw him screaming on fire outside the restaurant. So she went inside and called for help. She pulled the pin on the fire extinguisher and she goes, I shot him with it 4 or 5 times. That's what she said. But what I find is weird is they're not investigating this as any type of a crime.
I know. How does somebody just suddenly
start on fire?
Start on fire.
Because I mean, this is 90% of his body. So he was really on fire. This is not like a little, oh my gosh, I had a lighter and my shirt, got caught. This was like, he was like in flames.
See, I want to know what the catalyst was for that. Like, how did he suddenly catch on fire? Was he doing, because I know he was in a parking lot. So was he doing something with his car and there was an issue there? Did he have one of those? Did you hear that the new iPhone, if you bend it and it hits metal and it's in your pocket, it can catch on fire?
How do you bend your phone?
You know, the new iPhone, it's kind of bendable.
Oh, no, I didn't know the new iPhone was bendable.
The new one has like a little bit of like flex or curve. So like when it's in your pocket, it'll
curve with your ass.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you got a lot of ass. I wonder how well it would curve on my ass. I'm sorry. We do not have that curvature there. Anyway, I digress.
Okay, anyway.
But yeah, I saw a story that this guy had it in his pocket and then he was in one of those rickshaws and he got up and he like hit it. It was in his front pocket and he hit the metal and it actually caught on fire and he had to like pull it out of his out of his pocket. So the point of the story here is we don't know what happened. And that's crazy that no one has talked about that. I heard that he went into Taco Bell and asked for a cup of water. That was in one of the stories that I saw in it. He went into Taco Bell.
Did he ask for the cup of water, I assume, before he was on fire? Because he made it all the way to Arby's.
After. Yeah. Where he caught on fire was in between Taco Bell and Arby's. Arby's apparently was there to save the day.
Anyway, that's our police hard at work. So now a little wonderful to end the WWW, because I always like little wonderful stories after we hear about all these crazy people. A paraplegic veteran surprised his wife by standing for the first dance. Did you see this article? Sergeant Joey Johnson, 27, served in Afghanistan for 10 months. And then he did, upon his return, suffer a life-changing spinal cord injury motorcycle accident in 2012. So he can no longer feel anything from the chest down. His wife had no idea that they were doing this, but they constructed this special harness to basically hoist him up for their first dance, which was 1,000 Years by Christina Perri, which I love that song. So I think that's pretty awesome.
And the picture of it is beautiful. We will share that on our Facebook page.
Yeah, it really is. And what is crazy about this, if you read all of it, this couple, they met at a music concert or something. Oh, at the fair. This is in Indiana, so not everyone lives in a trailer there. But anyway, they met. They discovered that they had the same last name and the same birthday.
So when they got married, she didn't have to change her name.
No, she didn't have to change her name.
Hopefully they're not related, though.
Did you have to make this wonderful story something demented?
I'm sorry.
I hope they're not married too, on that note. So anyway, that's the WWW.
Well, thank you for finding all those great stories.
You're welcome. So we're going to take a break. And when we come back,
we have Passion and the Hulk, and we're going to learn all about Baka.
So stay tuned.
I'm Christina.
And I'm Michelle.
Are you or someone you know looking for a new job or career? The Vets on Media family would like to invite you to the National Career Fair in Phoenix on November 17th from 11 until 2 p.m. This free job fair will be held at the Phoenix Airport Marriott Hotel, located at 1101 North 44th Street, Phoenix. This is your chance to meet some of the top employers in the Phoenix area face-to-face. Get ready to jumpstart your new career at the National Career Fair in Phoenix, November 17th from 11 until 2 p.m. at the Phoenix Marriott Hotel, 1101 North 44th Street, Phoenix. For more information, visit ncfairs.com/Phoenix. Again, that's ncfairs.com/Phoenix.
Break it, one time. How about that bandit? You got some ears on, son?
Have you ever wanted to be a truck driver? If so, pay attention. If not, pay attention anyway. Southwest Truck Driver Training offers everything you need to get started. You can get hired before you begin training. They've got GI Bill approved training facilities, day, night, or weekend programs to fit your busy schedule. And if you have any questions, no sweat. They've got veteran supportive campuses with veterans on staff to serve you. And on top of that, they have lifetime job placement assistance. Put the pedal to the metal. Call Southwest Truck Driver Training today.
Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in your life. I'm no different. Hey everyone, it's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strongly about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so you know the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 417-864-0552 or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
If you or someone you know is looking for a new job or career, you need to visit the pros. National Career Fairs at ncfairs.com. National Career Fairs host over 300 career fairs a year nationwide. The events are free and give you the perfect chance to meet some of the top employers in your area face-to-face. To find the nearest career fair to you, visit ncfairs.com. Again, that's ncfairs.com. What are you waiting for?
You're listening to the No Limits Radio Show on the Vets On Media Network.
All right, welcome back. Thank you for listening. We are going to learn about an amazing organization. You know what I really wish, Michelle? I wish I could like wave my magic wand and make all bad people be nice and that no bad things would happen. Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be a good thing.
That really would. But
I'll
unfortunately,
agree with that.
You'll agree with that? Oh my gosh. Okay.
I don't agree with you very often.
She doesn't.
But I'll agree with that one.
We're on the same page with that. But unfortunately, that's not the world that we live in. And there are bad people out there. And there are bad people that do horrible things to children, which I think there's a really unique place in hell for those people. Just saying that. But here today with us in studio, we have two amazing people that give of their heart and their time to a fabulous organization. We have Passion. Thank you for joining us today.
I'm thrilled to be here.
And we also have the Hulk.
Good morning.
Hopefully he's not going to break anything.
He saves that for certain people.
He
that have
doesn't
a
even
special place in hell.
He doesn't even respond. Hopefully he's not going to break anything. He just doesn't respond.
Just going on record, he does not turn green.
Okay, that's good. I wondered about that.
So do the kids.
But they are with B.A.C.A. So, and B.A.C.A is Bikers Against Child Abuse.
Yes.
So share with everyone a little bit about share with us how you got involved with B.A.C.A and what it is that they do.
I got involved because my husband, Hulk, saw an article by Karina Bland. Fortunately, she was able to follow us and write about what B.A.C.A does and who they are and what they present. And when we read this article, long story short, reading it, the tears were flowing and I thought, where do I sign? Because I knew that there was some way, somehow, that I had to be part of this to help these children. And so we're always very grateful for her for writing that article. And basically what happened is our founder, J.P. Lilly, back in 1995, created B.A.C.A because he is a child play therapist and a clinical social worker, and he was helping these children. And what would happen is if it came time to go to court or something of that nature, if the perpetrator or someone that is associated with the perpetrator would come around and intimidate the child, all that work and all that progress that child did to heal was erased. And so he thought, wow, this is not okay. What can I do? And he was a biker in a previous life. And he thought, wow, what if I call my biker friends? And I'm getting chills, and I know this, I live this every day. And what happened was they were going to escort a child to court, and he made a phone call, and 27 bikes rolled in to support this child, and the child felt safe to go to court. And as we know, it's always, for us, it's always about the children. We never ask anything of them. Yet if they are wanting to go to court and share their story and tell their truth, it's a perfect way for them to start really healing. So that's one of the things that I love about what we do. And we do many things, but that is just how it originally started and has blossomed since then.
You know what was really interesting as I was talking to the Hulk, and you were sharing with me what it takes to become a part of Baka. You know, not anyone can just go join, and there's a very stringent process.
It's certainly not for everybody on lots of levels. As Passion was mentioning, you know, we were started in 1995 by Chief with this amazing vision. JP Lilly, we call him Chief. That's his road name. We all go by road names. No, I don't have strange parents who named me the Hulk. It's a road name, and that's, you know, it's an old biker tradition. It's also, there's some anonymity involved. And Chief came up with this idea back in 1995, and now we've grown to, we're in 7 countries and over 41 states here in the U.S. and we're growing. You know, every day we're adding new chapters all around the world, and it's really it's simple and difficult at the same time. To become a member of Baka, we have 2 chapters here in Arizona. We have Maricopa County, which I'm part of, and we have our Pima County chapter down south. You attend 3 consecutive meetings. We meet at the Shrine in Phoenix. You come 3 consecutive meetings. On that 3rd meeting, we take your fingerprints and we send them off to the FBI. And when I tell that to people, they look at me and say, "Okay, you're doing fingerprints and background checks. How do bikers get in?" Well, it's the true story is we are looking for 2 things. We're looking for crimes against children, and we're looking for domestic violence. Outside of those, we're overlooking most everything else. We have Baka brothers who have been down in federal prison for some pretty serious crimes, but they've never hurt a kid. And more importantly, they would step in front of a bullet for a kid. And that's what it takes to be in Baka. So when that background check comes back, usually takes, 4 to 5 to 6 weeks, depending on the government. There's a mandatory 60-day waiting period. Once that background check comes back and you've cleared your 60 days, you become what we call a supporter within Baka. The supporter gives you, you can be around our children, you can start attending events. You're actually required to start being around our kids. We have our mandatory events. You're required to do 80% of those. And the only 2 things you can't do the main thing you can't do as a supporter that you can do as a full patched member is be a primary for a child. And by full patched member, what that is you have the large back patch on your back, and that signifies that you have been around for a minimum of 14 months here in Arizona, and you have learned what it takes to be a primary for a child. Primary for a child, we'll talk about when we talk about the level 1 intervention we do is the most important thing you can do in Baka. Everything else is secondary. So earning that patch means you earn the right to be a primary for an abused kid.
Now, one of the other things you mentioned to me is that when you're a supporter, you're only allowed to see, like, as far as how you're able to interact with the kids. Share a little bit about that.
Yeah, actually, in truth, Baka is extremely simple, and the reason it works is because it's so simple. And when we roll up on a child's house, I'll kind of back up a little bit and talk about the process. And when we roll up on a child's house, we do what's called our level 1 intervention. And this is where we roll everybody in the chapter who has cleared that background check, members and supporters, patch members and supporters. We roll up to this child's house and we all surround this kid and we welcome them into the Baka family. We say, "These are my brothers and sisters. They have my back. I have theirs. We now have yours." And this is a small part of the Baka family you are part of worldwide. And each person in attendance will go up and greet the child, and the line is very simple. It's, "Hi, my name is Hulk," and you move on to the back of the line. And the reason we keep it so simple is these are extremely fragile, abused children that we know not a whole lot about. And the last thing we want to do, you figure if you're an abused child and you're in your front yard with your mom or your guardian or whoever, and all of a sudden a whole bunch of motorcycles roll up and all these motorcycle riders get off and they make a half circle around you and they present you with your very own denim jacket or your own denim vest with your own road name on it, and they bring you in as part of the family. We have empowered that child tremendously just by those actions. And from there, sadly, it's downhill. If we say something wrong, if somebody says, "Hi, my name is so-and-so, you have beautiful eyes," now all of a sudden, maybe that's something the perpetrator said to that child, and it all falls apart. So we keep it simple to keep it effective. And as a supporter, and even once you become a patched member and are a primary for these kids, your line for 99% of what you're going to do in Baka is, "Hi, my name is," and you're moving to the back of the line. And that's the empowerment and trying not to fall off that slope. At that level 1, as I mentioned, the primaries, we give each child 2 primary contacts within Baka, and these are 2 full patched members. And that child will be able to contact those primaries 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year till they're 18 and beyond. It can be everything from I had a great day at school, I want to share with you, to it's 2 a.m. and I just woke up from a nightmare and I'm terrified. They pick up the phone. One of those two primaries will answer that phone.
Than I do in the middle of the day.
So when you get a 2 a.m. call, are you then talking to the child? Are there times that you are going over to that child's house?
We are their Baka brother and sister. We are their primaries. We are not therapists. And so we have a very clear way of how we support that child during that situation based on what the situation is. And that's why we go through so much training. And even as a supporter, as they're learning, you know, and like you said, Maricopa is 14 months. And that's because each supporter has a sponsor for that training as they're learning. So when they become a primary, they know what to do. So it really depends on the situation, what's going on with the child. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes they're just had a bad dream and just want someone on the other end of the line. Sometimes they just want to tell you about the bad dream. Sometimes they just want to know that you're going to answer if they call.
I had a child for 30 minutes just said, I don't want you to say anything. I just want to know you're there. And I sat there with the phone in my ear, and about every 6 or 7 minutes, she'd say, are you still there? And I'd say, yep. She'd say, okay. She felt like even though her mom was in the next room, she felt like she was alone and she needed someone to be there with her. So I was that person who made her to the phone. And I literally said, yep, I'm still here 4 or 5 times for probably 30 minutes before she said, okay, I can go to sleep now.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. So, and as Passion was saying, you know, we are not therapists. And the interesting thing about Baka is we are the one piece in this child's life that's not asking anything of them. Therapists want them to get better. Police want them to tell their stories. You know, all these people want different things. Baka doesn't want anything except for them to be a kid again. In our mission statement, we empower children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. And that's what we do. We empower them. And regardless of what we do for a living outside of this, when we put this cut on, we are their brother or sister. We listen. You know, we don't tell them what to do. They've got other people doing that. You know, as soon as you start going therapist or mom or grandma or whatever your background is on, the kids will sniff that out and you'll be just one of them. So we have to be whatever it is they need us to be at that moment.
So, and so you've got to quickly assess what that is. That they need you to be.
And it's a moving target. You know,
each child's different.
And each child's different. And that's what we have to remember is, you know, particularly, like, you know, if I'm a primary for a teenage girl, I have to remember she's a teenage girl before she was an abused teenage girl, and teenage girls are moving targets. So when you get that call at 2 a.m, you don't know what you're getting. You don't know if you're getting the teenage girl that had a lousy day at school because some kid bullied her about her abuse, or you don't know if that teenage girl is now sounding, and literally they will change. I had one of my kids, she's a teenager, and when she called me one night, she sounded like she was about 9. And I'm guessing that's the age the abuse occurred. And whatever was going on with her at that moment shoved her back to being that 9-year-old kid. And if she hadn't said who she was and I hadn't seen the caller ID, it would have taken me a while to figure it out, because the smart ass, snappy teenager I'm used to is now this absolutely vulnerable, sounded about 9 or 10.
You know what I think is really, really interesting about the way, I'm going to say the branding, the culture, and I don't mean it to be business like, but that's kind of where my brain goes. But the entire brand, the way that you bring the kids in, the family culture, the way that you talk about the other members of Baka, I mean, it's all about a family. And I would imagine that in a lot of these cases, some of these kids have some of that abuse has come from a family. So you're actually, I'm sure, changing their dynamic and their view of what family looks like.
What family can be.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew I needed a box of Kleenexes. I'm just saying. And I told everybody, bring your own tissues for the show.
But to give everybody an idea, because I think that many people moving upon their life on a regular basis, either choose not to or are ignorant to the fact of what is going on in our own community. Yeah. How many members are in this chapter of Baka in the Maricopa? I'm
not even sure I could tell you.
Could you guess?
It's to me, it blends together members and supporters, but you know, there are approximately, I'm going to guess, about 100 people in Maricopa County that are either cleared supporters or members and able to work with kids. And just to give you, and this is one of the things that I wrestle with every day, you know, there are somewhere on the order of 30 to 50,000 reported cases of abuse in Maricopa County every year. And those are the ones that are reported. And so the number, of actual abuse cases is probably a bigger number than I want to sit and comprehend.
Right. So, because that's what that was going to be my next question is, so how many children do you have that you are their primary?
And that's a great question. And my answer is, because of the fact, if ever any of my kids are listening, every one of them is special, and it doesn't matter what the number is.
No, the reason I guess
Yes,
I'm asking,
but I wouldn't want a child to say, "Oh, I'm one of 15." You know what I mean? So I personally don't give a number because no matter what, they are my priority.
Can you give an
I'm trying to get an
average
idea of like how many
you got
kids are you
100
helping?
I think
Maybe
I
that's a better
can
question.
maybe give you some numbers that you're looking for, and just to kind of explain. We mentioned our level 1 intervention. I'm going to back up just a little bit more. There's an 800 number that we can figure out how to give here some point, and we put on the website. And so we have a website, bakaworld.org, if anyone's interested in learning about, some more about who we are and what we do. But basically, someone connected to this abused child picks up the phone and calls an 800 number. Usually it's a parent or guardian, but we have had judges call, we've had police officers call, we've had therapists call, we've had teachers call, neighbors, you name it. We do not have any agency authority, so we do have to be invited in. So typically, eventually we talk to the parent or guardian, but that 800 number goes to our child liaison in our chapter, and we call her Smiles, and she will get this call, and she has the unenviable job of getting some of the hard details about the abuse. The reason is, you mentioned the branding. The reason is our mission focused, and we are focused exclusively on the child. I hate to burst your bubble earlier about, us being there for the bad people. We really aren't. The bad people are in this life of this child. So that's how we interact with the bad people. In our mission statement, there's nothing in there about the family. There's nothing in there about the system. There's nothing in there about the laws. There's nothing in there about the perpetrator. It's all about the child. But what Smiles has to do is get some information to verify there's actual abuse. Sadly, people see us out and about. They see bikers, they see children. They call up and they say, my husband and I are getting a divorce. He's being a jerk. I think if a bunch of bikers came over here, he'd drop his case. And that's not what we're about. We're all about the abused child. So Smiles has to verify the abuse. And by verified, it can be as simple as a police report. Sometimes it's a little more difficult, because oftentimes with these kids, for whatever reason, the system doesn't pick up and doesn't file charges or doesn't do whatever. And again, that's completely irrelevant to us. If we have a therapist who says, in my professional opinion, this child is abused, that can be enough to get us in. Smiles will gather all this information, then she'll go to our board. Again, it's all about protecting the brand, and the board will vote on whether or not to bring the child in. If we vote to bring the child in, they start out with an initial visit. The president, usually the child liaison, security, will go to the child's house. And this is the one time we do kind of interact with the parents. And we will say, this is what we do and how we do it. Is this something you would like? Because again, we have to be invited in. And the parents will say, yeah, I think that's good. The kid will say, yeah, I think that's good. And that's when the president leaves with, okay, maybe this weekend I'll come back with a few friends. And the few friends is when 50 or 60, 70 of us roll up on our motorcycles. And it's pretty awe-inspiring to the child. So just to give you an idea, and back to answering the question, I'm sorry it took me a while to get back.
No. That laying that foundation, I think, was really good. And I do want to have you answer that question. And I think what we're kind of looking for is, if you've got 100 members, does each member have 5, 10, 15?
It depends, and it really depends on how you want to count that too. Because the other interesting thing about what we do, again, it was thought about. There are play therapists at the head of this thing, Chief, and then the second guy ever in Baka was his partner in the play therapy business, a guy named we call Thor, and Thor is still our international child liaison. He is our clinical expert. He is the guy that everyone in Baka worldwide turns to when what if, and we can't get an answer at the different levels. So these two guys are play therapists, and they have come up with a very structured way in which we're involved with the kids. Again, we're to empower the children. We're not big brothers, big sisters. We're not, and it's specific. It's abused children. It's not lonely children. It's not sad children. It's not.
We don't want to become their crutch.
We don't want to become their crutch.
Empower them to stand on their own.
So when we become a primary, depending on whether they have court, depending on what else is going on, our interactions with the child are very heavy at first, and then they taper off. So we make some visits, we make some phone calls. Very, very heavy at first to make sure we're getting the needs of the child, to make sure we're plugged in where we need to be, and to build that relationship. And then it kind of tapers back. But once I have a Baka kid, they're my primary forever. So we may have a child, and we had this situation. We had a child that we were very intensive with and did everything we had to do. And everything was great. The child was living a normal life. And something like 5 or 6 years later, the letter came in the mail that the perpetrator was possibly being released. and all the fear came snowballing back.
Sure.
Even though we hadn't been actively involved with that child, they picked up the phone, one of those primaries answered, and we rolled back out. We got her a new denim cut that fit a little better because the other one had gotten a little small, but the Baka family was still there. So, to ask how many kids someone has, someone who's been in this thing for a long time, we've got some people, Maricopa's been around since about 2005, and we've got some people that, probably have had 40, 50 kids, but it's hard to say, how many are active at any given time. But, to kind of circular answer the question without answering the question, I'm a biker first, so this is how I do things. We are doing these level ones, sadly, sometimes every weekend in a month, and we'll do multiples in a month. It's not uncommon. It's not and multiples in a day. So it's not uncommon on a Sunday for us to get out and start riding and put a couple 100 miles on our bikes, sometimes more than that, and bring in 18, 20, 22 kids in a single weekend. And it's again, people ask, I get the question a lot, how many kids do you want to work with this year? And it's either none, which means child abuse is over, which would be a wonderful thing, or it's all of them. Right. I mean, we don't have a quota system. Right. We don't say, gee, sorry, we've already taken our kids for this month, so you'll have to wait till next month. And we have quite literally taken a kid on a Sunday because they have court on Monday, or taken a kid on a Tuesday because they have court on Thursday. Because that's the other really powerful thing we do for these kids is we go to court with them if they have to go. And you mentioned the family thing. Imagine being a child who's been abused and you go in the courtroom, and the courtrooms are divided into two sides, the victim side and the defendant side. And on the defendant side are aunts, uncles, grandparents that the kid thinks of as family, but for whatever reason, they're taking the defendant's side in this case. And they are effectively, there's an aisle separating. They are against that child. Now you put the child on this side, and maybe maybe it's a grandma or grandpa, maybe it's a court advocate, maybe they're in a group home, maybe they're in the system, and they're there with an advocate, and great people. They're there with an attorney, great people, but they have nobody else. And you could imagine just the alone feeling of that. But now imagine the opportunities that there are for those perpetrators, friends, and families to try to convince that child it's not in their best interest to testify, that they need to and it's everything from grandma saying, you need to stop lying because grandma can't believe that her son or her daughter. We've seen grandparents turn their backs on kids in the courtroom saying, you need to quit causing all this trouble. You need to tell them you made it all up.
Stop upsetting the family.
Stop upsetting the family. And again, that's outside of my pay grade, but I'm there for that little brother or little sister that needs me. Now imagine you put 14 or 15 of us on that side of the courtroom with them. When we show up at court, that child is never alone. We surround them coming out of the parking lot. We ride motorcycles all around their car on the way to the courthouse. We get out at court, we surround them, we take them up to the floor. If they have to go to the restroom, depending on if it's a girl or boy, two brothers or two sisters will clear the bathroom out, and then that bathroom belongs to that child while they're in there. We don't let anybody else in. We are on guard from the minute we pick them up till the minute we drop them off. It takes the perpetrator or their family literally 10 seconds. If they walked up to that kid and, drying their hands at the sink and said, see, I can get to you whenever I want, and left, we're done. That child has lost all their empowerment. That child is back in complete fear. We've done no good. That's what we're there to prevent. Mm-hmm. When we walk into that courtroom, and I don't care if the perpetrator gets buried under the jail or released on a technicality. If my little brother or my little sister is able to go in and say what they need to say, and sometimes that's nothing. Sometimes the child just wants to see the person in handcuffs. Sometimes they want to get up there and unload both barrels with their constitutionally allowed statement to the court. It makes no difference to us. When we're done, regardless of the outcome of the case, we go out and get ice cream because it's a celebration. That child did what they needed to do, whatever that was.
It's really important, and we always are very clear with them. If they say they want to go, escort you. And if you suddenly, I don't care if we're halfway to the courthouse, you change your mind and you don't want to go, it's all good. We turn around. Or if we get all the way into that courtroom and you suddenly get scared and say, I can't do this, it's all good. We leave. So the child knows we have no stake in it other than what they want. Right. And they know that they are totally supported on whatever they want at any moment. And I think that's so important for people to remember, because a lot of times people think, oh, these bikers are trying to convince them to go to court. No, we got no stake in it other than if they want to go, we're there. We're going to escort them there and keep them safe.
Your only agenda is to support them. Absolutely. In whatever that looks like.
Yeah. Now, I do want to share a beautiful story because I get a little emotional. So grab your tissues. Oh, gosh. So honestly, this is where my heart just melted. My very first court, I hadn't met this child yet. I was going down to help support. And as he said, we surround the child. And there was a couple children at this specific escort. So I was walking next to one of them. And this child, as we're walking down the sidewalk and we've got, brothers around us, simply this little child just reaches up and grabs my hand. And she looks at me and she's deaf. And I just look back at her. And of course, they can never see you cry because then you're not empowering them. And as this gentle hand just grabbed my hand and squeezed, I squeezed back and I looked at her and I smiled and I'm like, we got this. And I just kept walking. And I knew from that moment on, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And what this child did and the siblings is they were afraid to sleep in their bedroom. So they had us put our handprints on their wall and write our names in our handprints so they could feel safe. And they have been sleeping in their bedroom ever since.
Aww.
So instead of being afraid of this room, now it's somewhere they want to be. And no matter what, they know we're there. And so they felt so empowered with our handprints there and they felt so safe. And they know we help all kinds of other B.A.C.A kids. So afterwards, they wanted to put their handprints in our cuts. And they wrote their names in them too. So that while we were out helping other children, we'd feel safe.
Yeah, and the part about that story that kind
Well, Christina, we could never do Baka because we're not allowed to flip and cry.
Are you kidding me?
and that's those same kids. And it was one of my four.
I know. Give them a moment. I mean,
Hold on a second.
that is,
Do we go to a commercial break now or something? Jeez Louise.
but that's part of the impact that is so unbelievably innocent. And it just shows the power of how these kids can transform. We helped them. They wanted to pay it forward and help us.
No,
They
and
wanted to help other kids.
that is unbelievably
And this-
beautiful.
I mean, it's
Sure,
with us always.
absolutely.
And he has the same thing.
Yeah.
And something that was way cool, I mean, just to add to it, the cool factor, is I saw them not too long ago and, they're like, do we see? So, and they were putting their hands up there and it's so really cool because their hands were littler here and now they're really big and they're giggling. They're like, look how little, because now they're bigger, and they're bigger than their handprints.
That's awesome.
But it's something so simple. And like he said, everything we do is simple in B.A.C.A. And this was a child that just wanted to feel safe in her room. And then she wanted us to feel safe.
And while what you do, you say that what you do is simple, it's huge. It really is
life-changing.
quite enormous. There's got to be a lot of costs that go into this. You said that there's training. I mean, from everything you've described to me about how you interact with the kids, there's got to be some extensive training that's going in. So that equates to dollars.
Everything we
the
are
cost,
100% volunteer. So thank you for asking that.
but also the cost. I mean, your fuel cost. You said
That's all on us. It's our own. It's our
Our
dime,
dime,
our
our
time. And if we have to, I mean, I've had kids, where we have to take them out of county and even out of state to go to court. And that's a really great thing. One of my primary kids had to go to court in Utah, and some of us from Maricopa County made the trip. But what was even cooler is by the time we got there, 10 brothers from Utah had that child.
Mm-hmm.
And it was as if they'd known him forever. I mean, they showed up. It's a B.A.C.A child who needs us. It doesn't matter if they're from Arizona or from Maine or from, any place else we have a chapter. We got there and, we go in and our B.A.C.A kids are already just hanging out with these new brothers and sisters they just met as if they'd known them forever because it's one B.A.C.A from border to border, corner to corner. When they cross the border into Utah, the cuts look the same, the patches look the same, the mission is the same. I have complete faith. Yeah, I have complete faith in my brothers up there. That, I mean, with our scheduling, the way it worked out is I knew I wouldn't get there till a couple hours after the kids did, and I just wasn't worried about it. And it was.
But who does the training? Like, are these therapists donate their time?
We have a therapist who actually rides with us. We call her Psych. That's her road name, and she rides with us. And she does at each chapter meeting. Typically, she'll come up and do a piece about something. Usually, it's about something that's happened in the chapter or a what if. What if as you mentioned, what if the kid calls you in the middle of the night and says da da da?
Right.
What are your next steps? And she teaches us how to operate in that area between therapist and mom and kid without violating anything.
Sure.
So they do training. We also have 2 certified trainers within our chapter. And then globally, we have, you name it, we've got one. Just to give you an example, we have an international conference every year. The last couple of years, it's been in Louisiana. And part of that conference, for those of us that attend, is 4 breakout sessions of training.
Continued education.
And just to give you an idea, I took a class called Child Communications. And the woman who teaches this class, we call her Road Hazard. She's from Texas. In her real life, she's a PhD at University of Houston, Clear Lake.
Right. She
teaches new counselors and new therapists how to communicate with children. So she spends a 4-hour session educating us on, and again, for what we do, it's more about how not to screw up. Because
so you have Baka brothers and sisters that are bringing their talents
right and
to the table,
and we have just recently, we're bikers and we're all volunteers. We've come into maybe the late 20th century, and we're doing webinars now, and we do have the ability for our members and our supporters worldwide to jump on the internet and get the training right from these people who are best to train us.
Right, and it trickles down. So we both, because we're passion members, we are sponsors for our sponsees. So during that year, 14 months of their training, we're training them the whole time throughout all this process.
Right.
So when they do receive the patch, they're ready.
So on a lighter note, since we've all cried, who picks the kid's name?
Whether they know it or
The
not.
kids
The kids know it or not. They don't typically pick their name, but what will happen is at that initial meeting, they'll start talking to the kids about what do you like, what kind of things are you into, and then our child liaison, she's actually the creative genius behind most of our road names, and she'll come up with stuff. And it's funny because lately it's been a lot of Disney characters, and I'm not up on my Disney movies, and so some of these characters come out, and I just kind of go, oh, okay. And for those of you who didn't know, Hello Kitty has a twin sister named Mimmy, Mimmy.
I did not know that.
But we had, a child did, and when we handed her that name, it was, when you hit the nail on the head and the kid lights up because you got their road name right. And that road name is it's anonymity. It really is, because if someone comes up to me and says, I'm looking for so and so and gives me a kid legal name, odds are I don't know anything about that.
Right.
But there's also a big piece of biker cool. I mean, there's we all have road names. They have road names, and we always tell them this is what you are known, your Baka family worldwide. From this day on, this is the only thing we will know you by, is this road name. And we do twice a year, we get together. In the summertime, we do have a big summer picnic for these kids. And that one, we bring our Pima chapter up, and all the kids get together. And the last couple of years, we've done a swim park, and these kids all come out and they get to swim. And it's so amazing to see kids be kids. We provide all the security, and it's closed to only Baka members and kids. There's nobody else there. Everybody is checked in, wristbanded. We have security all around the perimeter, so it's extremely safe. And these kids get to just be kids. And it's a lousy thing to have to bond over, but these kids will bond over, oh, you were abused too. And when you see a younger child see an older child that went through something and did come out the other side, and they're okay.
It truly is a brotherhood.
It truly is a brotherhood. And to watch these kids, that just are having trouble making friends at school and having, whatever, and then suddenly they get in a swimming pool with other kids like them, the friendships that are made out of there are lifelong.
And it's really funny to see all of us in our swim gear as well, and not the cuts, and they think that's hysterical. They do like that.
And we have members and supporters for everybody. It's interesting because we have, for every kid, we'll find someone in Baka. We have Tree, who's 6'10", and then we have Little Bit, who's about 4 foot.
She's a little bit.
About 4'10", and these kids are amazing because if a kid is afraid, someone like Tree brings them a security feeling. If someone was hurt by a male, the board will put primaries of them. They'll put two of the smaller females with them. And then, not saying our females aren't, extremely protective of their kids. I wouldn't want to cross any of them, but there's someone for every kid. And it comes back to me one time we were with a bunch of kids, and Passion was there, and this little girl says to her, I don't think you're really a biker. And Passion says, well, why not? She says, well, because you don't scare me. She goes, I don't. She says, no, but if I was hurt, I'd want you. And that's the way it is with these kids. You figure out, what works for them.
And each child will receive 2 primaries. And so first of all, never ever is a Baka person alone with a child. So there's always 2. And because we're married, we're considered 1. So there's always two primaries, 2 people with a child at once for their protection and for ours. So everything that we do is about protecting the child's safety. The other thing that they really get excited about is we've had children who are afraid to leave the state and go on vacation. And kind of like he was saying with court out of state, we remind them, if you're because we have one that wanted to go to California and she was terrified. And he said, guess what? We have brothers and sisters in California. And she was like, you too? It's like, yeah. We only give them a call. So she felt okay to go on vacation because otherwise she didn't want to leave her home.
Wow.
And that is empowerment. So I do want to make sure, because I know you appreciated us kind of circling back around. I do want to just clarify who we are and who we are not. So we are not a motorcycle club, and we are not a motorcycle gang. We are simply a 501c3 that exists to empower abused children not to feel afraid of the world in which they live.
And if people do, I understand that while there are costs, and you said that that's on you, if people do want to donate, can they?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We take donations. We do.
We don't take money.
Yeah,
We
totally
do.
take money.
Locally, we do have a website, BACAdonations.org, and you can go on there and donate via a credit card. Also, if you go to the BACAworld.org, you can donate to other chapters. We've had people that want to donate back to their home chapter in Ohio or their home chapter in Florida, and it said we're one BACA. We're all about these kids, and if that other chapter needs the donations, we're good with that. So there are ways, and if you go on the BACAworld.org website, you can look at all the chapters we have in all the states and all the countries, and there are opportunities for certain.
And they're also on Facebook.
And
I found the Facebook page.
Yeah, the other thing that we absolutely need denim cuts or denim jackets. We just cut the sleeves off.
Okay.
And they don't have to be new. So if anybody wants to, thrift shop hop, that's awesome.
Okay.
We especially need boys because little girls, they'll donate their jackets into like Goodwill or something because they want the newest and latest and cutest.
Uh-huh.
But it seems like boys kind of hang on to theirs longer.
Okay.
And we always need those. So if there's anybody who's listening who has them or who wants to find them, and if there's anybody in companies or groups, they want to do a coat drive for the denim jackets for us, please do. We'll come pick them up.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, Passion and Hulk, thank you both. This has been incredible.
It's our pleasure.
Yes.
And we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to lighten the mood a little bit, hopefully, because I've been crying like a baby. But we're going to lighten the mood in the room a little bit, and we're going to play a very fun game. All right. So I'm Christina.
And I'm Michelle, and we'll be right back.
Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in their life. I'm no different. Hey, everyone, it's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strongly about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so you know the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 417-864-0552 or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
Break a one now. How about that bandit? You got them ears on, son?
Have you ever wanted to be a truck driver? If so, pay attention. If not, pay attention anyway. Southwest Truck Driver Training offers everything you need to get started. You can get hired before you begin training. They've got GI Bill approved training facilities, day, night, or weekend programs to fit your busy schedule. And if you have any questions, no sweat. They've got veteran supportive campuses with veterans on staff to serve you. And on top of that, they have lifetime job placement assistance. Put the pedal to the metal. Call Southwest Truck Driver Training today.
Do you need an extra push to start your day? Well, then tune in to Addie's Radio. Addie's Radio is a show that explores tough questions in an open and fun forum. The program also engages hard-hitting issues concerning veterans' physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. The show airs every Tuesday from 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Vets On Media Network. Addie's Radio is hosted by Jesse James, a combat veteran of Afghanistan, so he knows the problems that veterans face every day. Jesse provides you guidance each and every week to be a better you. So tune into yourself each week by tuning into Addie's Radio. Go to vetsonmedia.com for show details.
If you or someone you know is looking for a new job or career, you need to visit the pros. National Career Fairs at ncfairs.com. National Career Fairs hosts over 300 career fairs a year nationwide. The events are free and give you the perfect chance to meet some of the top employers in your area face-to-face. To find the nearest career fair to you, visit ncfairs.com. Again, that's ncfairs.com. What are you waiting for?
Play.
You're listening to No Limits Radio Show on the Vets On Media Network.
All right, welcome back. We're back. We are back. And now we've had a chance to calm down,
Dry our eyes.
dry our eyes. I feel a little bit.
Well, before I
sniffly.
just want to say, you guys, that thank you for what you do. The
pleasure.
time that you put into it, and I think it's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
I really do.
One thing that while Rob's getting ready for the game that we're going to play, that I wanted to ask you that I didn't get to in the last segment. And this is the way I'm going to preface it. My stepfather is a heart surgeon, and when you see people that are sick all the time, you start to think that everybody in the world is sick. And so to balance that, there were times that he would just go and he would sit at the mall just to see healthy people walking around, to see that, you know what, not everybody is sick. So I'm wondering, you know, how do you balance what, I mean, when you see all of these kids and you're aware of what has happened to them, and you realize that there's so many bad, how do you balance that?
So I know we both have probably an opinion. For me, it's remembering that event happened, and we're not about that. We are about today, right now, and going forward. And for example, like that level 1, when we see the kids, when we first show up, some of them, you know, depending on what they've been through, you know, they're contracted, they're kind of sad, their eyes are kind of empty. And we're not there more than 30, 45 minutes, and they're feeling safe to giggle, and the spark is back in their eyes. And that alone changes everything. You see them going from I'm not sure what this is, but I want to find out. Everybody else has hurt me, or someone else has hurt me too. This is my new family, and I feel safe.
So that's how you
That's
counter.
a payday. You know, like we say, we're all volunteers. Those things are paydays. When you see a child feel safe to play, or when you have a child who was so afraid to leave their home, and suddenly they're out doing dances and going to dance class or doing school participation things, and you see them smiling. I mean, you know.
So for you as the person, that becomes your focus, and you're not thinking so much about the bad person.
It's not about, we're there to empower them, not to keep them stuck in that pain.
You guys are like visible guardian angels, period. You're kind of there to like, just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like just there to say, hey, I'm here to support you. I'm watching. I'm watching over you. That's it.
We were in court, and he said the best thing to one of the most amazing corporate situations. And this little boy looked up at Hulk, and he said, "Thank you for giving me the courage." And he looked down at this little boy, and he said, "No, brother, you have all the courage already. I just reflected it back to you."
Oh,
Yeah, those kids are the strongest. I mean, you roll in, 14 or 15 big bad bikers, and the strongest person in that room by far is that child, who's able to go in there and speak their piece. I mean, and that's the thing. That's what keeps me balanced, is this thing in and of itself. Our mission statement, and from the mission statement on forward, I personally believe this whole thing is being steered by someone else. I'm not steering the ship; it's a higher power steering it, and it rolls itself around. And we have a kid who has a terrible day, but then we take a kid to court who 6 months earlier would have a seizure at the mention of the perpetrator's name, and he's able to go to court and walk right past that perpetrator and say his piece to the judge and walk out and have ice cream. It balances itself for me.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Awesome.
All right. Are we ready for our game?
We are ready. Game show.
All right, here comes Game Show No Limits. So if you want to play along, go to the Facebook page and feel free to post your answers, or just play along in your head.
There we go.
Or just
We got
play
a
your
lot
head.
of fact or fiction or trivia.
Okay, we're gonna start with fact or
So
fiction.
you want to do that? All right. So what are the teams?
Everybody's an individual.
Oh, we're going. Okay.
Ooh, very
All right.
competitive. Bring it.
Good. So fact or fiction. Was it the first person answer? Is it like
Sure.
lightning round?
Yep.
All right. So I'll spit them out. and-
Okay, so if you know the answer, then say your name.
Oh,
So if he asks the question, then I'll say Christina.
all right.
You'll say passion.
I'm going to play in my own head, so I'll be quiet for a
If he gets one wrong, it's gonna be Hulk smash.
You have the big green.
No, I do not.
Oh. Okay.
All right. Fact or fiction. Question number 1. The Marlboro Man died of lung cancer.
Christina. Fiction.
That is truth.
Fact.
Wayne McLaren, a
Dang.
Marlboro man in 1976, died of lung cancer at age 51.
I was
Don't
putting
smoke.
on funk game music loop because Rob really wanted music in the back. So I really should have won that. All right, we're ready. Question 2.
All right. Question number 2.
It's funny,
If you
she's got great
swallow
music
chewing
in it.
gum, it doesn't pass through the digestive system for 7 years.
False. Michelle.
Are you keeping a tally?
Well, you got that one wrong, so I didn't have to put it. But you got it right.
I have one.
Yep. Science proves that gum passes through the alimentary canal. It's the same as any other product you swallow. Okay, so next is Coca-Cola used to contain cocaine.
Passion. True.
That is true.
Good job,
We'll never know
Passion.
how much cocaine was actually in it, but it is a fact that it once was. By 1902, there's 1/400th of a gram per ounce of syrup.
That's crazy.
It wasn't until 1929 that Coca-Cola became cocaine.
show on the Vets on Media
But you didn't know that?
All right,
All right.
next.
morning.
Next.
Good morning. How are
So we
you?
have new Coke and post rehab Coke.
The city Alexandria was named after Alexander the Great.
Christina, fact.
That's true.
Yes.
Ooh, good one, Christina.
Important.
Okay.
Ooh, the chicks rule right now.
All right.
The chicks always rule.
Everybody at 3.
And girls do just want to have fun.
Al Capone was arrested by the FBI for illegal alcohol sales.
False. Christina.
Well, she said false. I'm going to say true.
That was not why he was. Oh, wait a second. He might have been arrested for that, but why he went to prison was for tax evasion. She's going to be right.
Michelle won!
Ah.
It was tax evasion that they got him on.
But he was arrested for. Yeah.
Oh! All right. Leif Erikson was the first person to cross the Atlantic.
He's playing in his head and he doesn't know. I'm gonna say
Neither of the people in my head know the answer to that
I have no idea either.
one. She's Googling it. I see her Googling it over
I'll say
there.
true.
Oh, I'm not that talented. Thank you, Hawk, but I'm not that
I'll
talented.
say false.
All right. Okay. Well, it is false. Yeah. Leif Erikson explored mainland America. However, it was his father, Eric the Red, and these are Vikings, mind you, who crossed Greenland from Europe. But there also may be evidence that Irish monks had accomplished the feat before either of those guys.
No, the Vikings did it first. Because Vikings rule. Next.
Okay, next. The prefix giga means a million.
Michelle. True.
I think it's
It
false.
is false.
Damn.
Giga means a billion.
Yeah.
Got that one wrong, huh?
All right. Let's see. Some of these, I don't know. Gabriel and Michael were the only 2 angels mentioned by name in the King James Bible.
True.
What's your name?
Christina.
False.
Darn it.
There were
I'll go
4
with
angels.
passion. I'll go with false.
There were 4 angels mentioned by name in the King James Bible. There were Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, and Lucifer.
Oh. I guess I need to bone up on my Bible literature.
All right. You guys ready?
Ready.
We're ready.
Snow White was Walt Disney's favorite animated heroine.
Passion. True. I don't know.
It is false.
Say false.
I was okay. You got to give other people a chance.
Right?
Hey,
Right?
whoever answers first. In a conversation with Eileen Woods, Walt told her that Cinderella was his favorite heroine because he could relate to her rags to riches story.
Oh,
And
whatever.
he did have quite a rags to riches story.
Still.
Yeah. Interesting backstory on Walt Disney,
Yep.
which we won't share right now because we're playing a game.
Play a game.
Let's
But he had to wear shoes that had holes in them. His father had a paper route, and he had to work the paper route before school, after school, didn't get any sleep, was his shoes actually had holes in them, and he would walk in the cold, and that was what motivated him. Can you just stop me from rattling, please?
On Inauguration Day, when the President of the United States takes the oath of office, the Bible is open to the book of Acts.
False.
Confession.
Christina. I don't think it's open. I think it's closed.
Okay.
You said your name first, so you're following the rules there.
I know.
Christina.
Sorry.
I get the bonus point. So what's the answer?
Say
I'm
true or
taking the
false.
bonus point.
She's not even saying false or
saying
true.
but I'm taking the bonus point. I said my name.
All right, she gets a bonus point, but who gets that one right?
What's the answer?
Okay, it is false.
Ah.
I just keep saying true. I believe in everything.
Okay, so we both get a point for that. She gets a bonus point for following the rules. I get a point for getting it right.
That's bad. All right. If the president has to
And
have
Michelle gets a
favorite
point for running the board.
passage of- okay.
Michelle gets a
All
point.
right.
He's like, okay, whatever.
And Holt gets a million points because he's playing the game in his head.
He's like, I totally
already
am.
undefeated.
He's sitting there going, I am
He's got 'em all
kicking
right.
all of their asses right now, and they don't even know it.
He has phone a friend, by the way.
I get a point for staying out of this mess.
If the president has to have a favorite passage or verse, the Bible's open to it. If he doesn't, he just places his hand on a closed Bible.
Oh,
So it could be true or false.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, unless
There's
his
no
favorite
you
act-
said
Ooh.
it is open to blah blah blah.
the Book of Acts.
Yes. So it could be open
It
to the Book of
absolutely
Acts.
could be.
That's a
If he-
very misleading
He
question.
asks if
I
the
think
president
everybody
has-
gets another point.
Here's what we're doing now. All right.
So your issue with this game is just the quality of the questions. Everything else is fine. It's the only problem we have here. Good to know.
Okay. Now we're moving on to general trivia questions.
Uh-oh.
Great.
Say your name, and
Oh, yeah.
you guys spit out the answer.
Okay.
Or should we just
Christina,
okay.
red
We'll
42.
just shout out the answer.
Let's go.
Just
Go.
spit out the
Just
answer.
Yeah, go.
Okay. In what movie would you see the character Lightning McQueen?
Cars.
Go.
Oh, I didn't even do that. That's from hanging out with the kids.
Seen in the movie Toy Story, what kind of animal is Bullseye?
Oh. Pass.
Next.
Cow, I don't know.
He's a horse.
Okay, next.
Oh, I knew
makes
that.
sense.
All right. Easiest question ever. In the Star Wars movie The Empire Strikes Back, what did the Millennium Falcon fly into to escape the Imperial fighters?
A canyon. The Death Star. A big ship. A black hole.
You name it.
3 chicks are playing this, and you pick a sci-fi movie thing. Not everyone knows Star Wars.
Field?
What's that?
Is it an asteroid field?
Bingo.
There we go. See, Hawk is kicking our
Your
ass.
inside voices are talking.
Okay, one more of these types of questions. Let's see. In which 1990s sci-fi movie did we see Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon being terrorized
Weird Science.
by gigantic hungry worms?
Oh, no, that's not Weird
Oh,
Science.
gigantic hungry worms.
Oh,
Thoughts?
Tremors.
Dang.
He just started playing, and he's already beating all of us.
I know.
Okay, name the band for these lead singers. Robert Plant.
Is the band Robert Plant?
No, he's the lead singer. He's the lead singer of the band.
No.
Led Zeppelin. Oh, got it. Brian
That's
Johnson.
the inside voice.
Brian Johnson. I've never even heard of that name.
Have you?
AC/DC.
Boom.
Told you.
Mick Jagger.
Aerosmith.
Stones.
Passing up the stone.
Oh, that's what's his name? The
Moves
guy
like
with the
Jagger.
Yeah, that's the other
Moves
guy.
like Jagger.
Axl
I got
Rose.
moves like Jagger.
quick on the trigger or twigger. Wesley Will Wabbit. James Hetfield.
I'm done.
Metallica.
All of a sudden, Hulk
Can we
is
go back to
high
fact or
lead.
fiction?
I know, right? Just smoked us.
Steven Tyler.
Aerosmith.
Roger Daltrey.
Aerosmith.
Oh no, I know this one.
Who?
Oh yes, that's it.
Eddie
Who?
Vedder.
Oh, that's
Pearl Jam.
Yeah, dang it.
James is gonna be so
Jim
upset I missed that
Morrison.
one.
The Doors.
Nice.
Chris.
Good job, Christina.
John Fogerty.
Who cares?
Band. Isn't John Fogerty in the band? I don't know.
John Fogerty.
Is the band?
No.
Even
The
Hawk
singer.
doesn't know this one.
I do, but I can't think of it.
Next.
Who was it?
Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh, Down on the Corner. I love that song.
Geddy Lee.
Rush.
Yep. All right.
Rob.
Greatest rock band ever. Joe Elliott.
AC/DC.
That's what I was going to say, but no.
Kiss.
Pearl Jam.
You know, it's
Wait.
Greatest rock. Def Leppard.
boom.
Did you just say Def
I know,
Leppard
right?
is the
Yeah,
greatest
that's what I
rock
got
band
that
ever? I
Okay,
mean, I don't
listen.
even like rock, and I can't agree
Okay,
with that.
So let me just share a little
That was a
insight.
trick for her to know the answer.
Yeah. So that really doesn't count
And it really
because you
worked
gave me
well.
a clue.
Yeah.
Greatest rock band ever.
Okay,
But,
so here's the thing. Rob is a little bit stuck in the 90s and 80s when it comes to music, TV, just about anything.
Just about anything.
So, can we move into like the now with these? I mean, I know I
These are
did say you could do the
rock
trivia, but
bands.
you're doing it wrong.
Another advantage of deployment. I don't get to argue with my significant other. I'm just full of them today.
Okay. History? Is that more
No,
your thing?
TV shows. Make fun.
Yeah, let's do modern TV shows.
Let's not do history.
Okay.
Either that or we're going back to fact or fiction. Or are there no more fact or fiction?
Oh, I got all sorts of stuff.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Yeah, but we all did good on the bands.
As we were throwing out a lot of different bands.
Running for 3 12-episode seasons, what American Western TV series was set in South Dakota during the 1870s?
Bonanza.
Is that right?
1870s? They had TV then?
No, it's set
Oh.
in the 1870s. Not. You lose just because of that statement.
Negative 5 point.
That's like, that was horrible.
Deadwood was the answer. Starring Martin Sheen as President of the United States, which political drama depicts the
that.
lives of staffers living in the White House?
Yep.
House of Cards.
West
No,
Wing.
The West Wing, yes.
Ooh, West Wing.
Oh, that is a good show.
good
Why do you
one.
think it was Josh?
Let's see. Which actress played the station's gorgeous blonde receptionist, Jennifer Marlowe, on the TV series WKRP in Cincinnati?
Oh, I can see her.
What's the first
She's
letter of
old
her
now.
name?
Lonnie Anderson.
Yep, you got it.
Oh.
I was like, I can see her. I just can't think of her name.
Okay, if I am
Good one.
ever on one of
Told
those
you.
game
Old
shows,
friend.
I am absolutely going to phone
That's his
the
name.
Hulk.
Linda Carter is known for playing which super-
Wonder Woman.
Dynasty.
What did you say?
Who'd you say, Dynasty? Wonder Woman.
Linda what?
Not Linda Carter.
Linda who?
That's in
It was
Dynasty.
in
No,
Dynasty.
she's in Dynasty. Just
He's like, forget it.
Did you ever
I
watch
don't-
Dallas? Are you watching the
I'm thinking
new?
Linda Evans. No.
Oh, Linda Evans.
Sorry. Wrong chick.
On which American TV sitcom did Robin Williams get his first start?
Yep, that's it.
It's Mork and Mindy.
Oh.
Nanu.
It's only a half point. Mork and Ork.
One more question, Robin. We have to call it a day.
Oh,
Yep.
man.
oh, say it. Is it so?
Children's trivia questions.
Oh, cool.
Yay! We might be able to win these.
I think we got this.
All right. Let's see. In what sport would you hear the terms crawl and butterfly?
Swimming.
That is correct.
Yay!
Yay!
Nice.
It's a long pause as we all realize we're not smarter than a kid.
Yeah, it's a good thing it wasn't. Are you smarter than a fifth grader?
All right, so tally the totals.
Okay, well, Hulk finished first with 9, even after joining the game halfway through.
Whatever.
Rob, do you ever want to be invited again? Shut up and move on. With it.
Hulk forfeits.
Oh, this was fun.
Girls,
We did awesome.
Passion was the best female,
I think it's gonna say last
and
place.
Chris and Michelle were tied.
I totally beat you. He's just saying that so you don't pick on him all day. Just so you know, I tallied myself. But anyway, next week, what? See, look, see. What do we got next week, Christina?
Next week, we are going to learn about an amazing program that was started right here in Arizona. It's the BEST program. Have you ever watched Extreme Weight Loss with Heidi and Chris Powell?
No.
Well, it's incredible. And they have a program that's right here that helps people to lose weight and have a sustainable program. We also have a coach that's going to be joining us in studio to share about how to take your business to get more success in your business. So
Awesome.
more on that next Saturday.
Yep. And next we have JD's Rockin' Sports coming up. I'm probably going to be a guest star because I'm number 1 in the pool right now. Yep. That's right. Chick, I'm winning. You know it.
So for those of you that don't know, there's an award that goes out to the first place and there's an award that goes out to the last place. Last place is an ass. And currently I am in last place. So I will be getting that award.
First and last.
Yes. All right.
Thank you, Passion and Hawk, so much.
Thank you
for
both
having
so
us.
much.
Awesome day. Thank you.
All right. I'm Christina.
And I'm Michelle.
We're so gallantly streaming. Get the rockets ready. The bombs bursting in air. Gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that start?